Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new to my channel, this is all about loving our makeup collections as they currently are, being critical of new makeup releases, and also being very considerate when we decide to bring something into our makeup collection. Hi, we're going to do a Let's Play with makeup today. In this format of video, what I like to encourage you to do is to pull out some of your makeup and I'll play with some of my makeup. Some of it's stuff that I'm still testing, most of it is stuff that's like already permanently in my collection and that I know my feelings and thoughts on. And I use them all and then I reflect on using them all at the end of the video just to retouch base on how I feel about those products again, because sometimes your mind changes on things and that's okay, but we just need to touch base a little bit. So if this kind of content sounds good to you, I would love for you to stick around and watch the video. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. Make sure to leave a like for this video. Even if you don't intend to get all the way through it, I would really appreciate the like. And I'm also on Patreon if you would like to support me financially there. I don't know. I've never had like a cutout top, and considering like I do have like breasts. I don't have like breasts for a top for cleavage, but I really like the peekaboo moments. Moving on. Hi! Before we get started, before I forget, today my foundation I have on is the Luminous Elixir 3-drop foundation. This is like the lab sample testing thing that Ritual Defee did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna link their Instagram down below. You can scroll to like read a little bit more about this, but every now and then they'll do like a lab sample release of a product they haven't released yet, but like might release in the future to get feedback on it. So that's what I have on my face. There will be a full foundation review of this, don't you worry. But I just recorded a clip of me applying it for the first time. So we'll see how this goes. I actually don't know how I feel about it either way at this point, even after putting it on. So that's where we'll leave that. Second thing, there's a lot to talk about today. Normally when my Let's Play with makeups, oh my god. Typically in my Let's Play with makeup, it's like very casual and calm and cool reflective, but today we're gonna celebrate me hitting 1,000 subscribers, which again, thank you so much for subscribing. If you were part of that 1,000 subscribers, that initial subscribers, that means a lot to me and it's very special, but we'll reflect on that a little bit in the future in this video. But first and foremost, my friend Kristen of the Beauty Beatdown sent me friend mail, and I did post a video that I got this friend mail both on my Instagram and on my channel. So if you saw that, you know it's coming. But I don't remember when Kristen in a video mentioned that she had the Club Nebula palette from Kaleidos, which was a palette that it came and went, and I kind of was bummed that I missed it, because Kaleidos is a brand that I have long been very, very interested in and intrigued by and allured by. And Kristen is kind of newer to makeup, and when you're new to makeup and you have that like naivete where you think you can use a lot more makeup than you can. Anyway, she bought 2 of them. And when I mentioned this was a palette that I was bummed about missing out on, she said, you know what, I bought an extra and let me ship it to you. So please go check out Kristen's channel. I will link her channel down below. Her channel is called The Beauty Beatdown. What she does over there is she does makeup videos, and she actually posted every day for a year leading into her 40th birthday. So that was like a thing she did all of last year. And then she also does wrestling content. She goes to a lot of wrestling events, and she wants to create a safe space for women, femmes, queer people to feel comfortable in that wrestling space. So that's one of the things that she does. Anyway, please go check out Kristen. She's really, really lovely. Also go check out her Instagram so you can see her looks. So she sent me the Club Nebula palette, her extra one. So thank you so much. I know I've said it like 1,000 times to you, Kristen, but thank you. So I want to talk about this just like a little bit because I've been so intrigued by Kaleidos palette. So I'm going to talk about the experience of like holding this in my hands. I have always thought that these were like the biggest things. Now they are chunky. Let me grab something for scale. My favorite palette to always use for scale is an ABH palette. So I only have the Jackie Aina ABH palette, but I think we've all at some point either had one of these or have at least seen one in the store, or our friend has had one, so we can like objectively believe the scale of it. So I literally thought the Kaleidos palette was going to be like huge. But comparing it to the Jackie Aina palette, it is not longer, which I thought it was longer. It is much thicker. You can see here. And I always was like curious. I'm like, are these like made out of wood? Because they are so thick and chunky. They're definitely not made out of wood, but they're definitely not just like cardboard. Like it's it's an interesting experience. If you're not familiar with the Club Nebula palette, here's what this looks like on the inside. And I've played with it one time so far. So I'm going to play again with it today, which I'm looking forward to. What I think I'm going to do, so whenever I did my first look with it, and I was really attracted to this shade, this purple, this kind of, I don't even know what to call it, taupe shade. And then I put this shade all over my lids, which is, it's a little too translucent to be like just the star of the show. I wish I would have put something underneath it. My instinct tells me to play with these ruddy tones today, but I want to do a cool tone look. So I think I'm going to play with these blues and then put this Astro shade on my lid. I think that's what I'm going to do because, you know, I don't often wear blue eyeshadow, so I'm going to do that. My first impressions of the formula is I really like it. I mean, I've only used it one time, so today will even show us even further. Now, I have another Angelica collaboration with Odin's Eye. I do believe that the Odin's Eye collaboration is more my speed color story kind of in general, but this is really alluring to me still. I will prime my eyes with the Atelier eyeshadow primer. I think I got the foundation on my eyelids, which I don't normally take my foundation there, but when that video comes out, you'll see why I probably ended up getting it on my eyelids. I'm having feelings still about my experience with that foundation, but we'll see. I'm going to set it with the Pat McGrath setting powder. Now that we know that we're playing with the Club Nebula palette, I'm just going to play with it. So if you are inspired by my look, just be inspired by the colors that I'm using. You don't need to know the exact shade I'm using because one, this is a discontinued product. You cannot get it. So if you don't have it, you're not gonna be able to use these. So just be inspired by the shades. I don't like calling out shade names or like really my brushes either. It's like, it's just not something that I do. I don't know. If no one has said anything about it so far. But so if you feel the need to say something about it, go ahead. Maybe I'll change my mind. Ooh, first, Mario Badescu lip balm. We're chapped. Let's talk. So, as you may or may not know, I hit 1,000 subscribers, and that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like, if I do say so myself, pretty cool of a moment. I think I'm just gonna do like one of my typical blown out looks, but just with blue. If you're new to my channel, I have actually been on YouTube for 5 years, but it's been very on and off. So as I'm playing with this color, I don't know that this color is my particular fantasy. Not really because of the shade, but I often don't work with brights because they just require a different way to apply them than like I guess like my comfort zone or like the way I really like to apply makeup, because I find that like with shades with brights like this, packing is really the way to go. And I like a really blended, blown out look for the most part. This might take me a little bit of a minute to figure out what I'm doing with my eye, but we're here, we're getting there. Because that was applying a little bit patchy the way I typically apply, but we are fixing those sins by just kind of like essentially stippling this eyeshadow on as opposed to, you know, doing circular motions like I normally do. I fell in love with makeup in 2016, and then I started my YouTube channel in 2017. I think it was early 2017. I should know this because I was literally just looking at that video. So I think it was January 2017. And kind of the vibe, I don't think I said this directly, but it was kind of like, it was kind of my thoughts at the time is like, I wasn't really good at makeup, but like there was something very alluring about the idea of like content creation to me. And like, I find myself to be like a creative person, but not particularly an artistic person. I was just like, you know, trying to find an outlet. Now, I understand that there's like artistry involved with makeup, so I understand that like in some facets I am an artist, but like not an artist like I guess in the traditional sense where like I can't paint, I can't really write. Like my relationship to like the arts is like, what do I have to offer? I don't know, probably not that much. This is way more pigmented than I thought it was gonna be. We're already on a journey that I have lost control of on my eyes, but we're here and we're vibing and we're enjoying it. Started it, and like if I were to say the ethos of the initial hautemesstom channel on those original videos, and you can still see some of them. I've privated a lot of videos, but not all of them. So, and the reason I privated them is not because I'm ashamed of them. They just don't really fall in line with like what I'm trying to do with my channel now. And I think that's like a very big part of like why my channel is like doing well too, like having this focus on like, I don't have like the most curated collection, but focusing on just considering things before we buy them. Cause like I probably like if at the time my channel would have like blown up in any kind of fashion, I would probably be like an Manny MUA or like whatever, hopefully with like less drama, but like, you know, focused on newness and reviewing newness and always talking about something new and like almost never reflecting on things. Because I think like the two things that the beauty community in like the beauty YouTubers who are really large, I don't want to generalize that much because there's like a difference. There definitely is. But the very popular beauty creators, the focus was always just on the now. Always on the now. It was never to reflect on things that we were using and never to consider something before they have it. And I understand that like PR changes that, like getting free items for review does change that because now you're provided an opportunity where you're not spending money. But then if you're talking to your audience, they are. Most of the people in your audience, if they're going to buy a product, they're going to spend money. Like they have to spend money to have that opportunity. Smaller creators who don't get PR, which I do think that's like a little bit of a changing world because I do think that like micro influencers have more influence now because people tend to trust the smaller influencers. But like there's no reflection, right? So when you think about it, because like I was very much inspired by Hannah Louise Poston, and I've mentioned this before, and like Hannah's really a very big part of the reason how I got to 1,000 subscribers is her recommending me to her audience. And those of you who learned about me through Hannah, you came and subscribed and then have stuck around and like learned, like me and Hannah don't do things exactly the same, but like when you think about this, when I came across Hannah, because I was getting tired of the same old beauty content of like all of this, like only talking about the newness. But when I started like watching more of Hannah's content, it's like Hannah uses the gold palette from Natasha Denona all the time. Like all of the time. And it would be like, wow, she really likes that because she's pulling it out all the time. And she definitely has like a more curated collection too. So you're going to hear a lot about the same things. But that's what I like about it, because in a realistic sense, in a realistic world, we should be, oh my God, I'm like not even doing makeup. We will be using the same things over and over again. Because we are the people, we have to buy our makeup and we should be using up our makeup. And I know that some people, like you buy something, you're like, I don't want to use it up. I just bought it. Ooh. Can you tell how often I don't play with color based on like what's happening? Because every time I put something on my face, I'm like, wow, that is so pigmented. So that Tom in 2017, I think could have really been a ruckus had they gained any traction at that time with their YouTube channel. And I was like buying new things. Not only that, little did that Tom know that they would lose their job by the end of that year. Probably it was around October of that year. So then it comes to this point where I couldn't, and I posted pretty consistently my first year with some growth. Interestingly enough, this was definitely just a thing that happened. Like I have no idea if she's like still subscribed to me, but Lauren May Beauty, if you're not familiar, is also friends with Hannah. Shouted me out in one of her videos early on, and that didn't give me any traction really, because like my content was just like a mishmash of stuff. Like I was doing anti-hauls and then I was like just buying whatever I wanted to anyway, and it's not like I was buying things that I was anti-hauling, but I wasn't like the things that I was buying I really wasn't considering either. And like kind of what happens whenever happened then, I guess, is sometimes to grow your channel or sometimes to get the most views is like an arms race to get the first video out. So what I was doing is I would watch people's reviews on things, go buy them, and then review them like long after everyone else had. And like, I don't have a problem doing that now, but like thinking about me in that mindset's pretty strange. Anyway, so I did that. I don't really know when I like fell off, but here's kind of what I do remember. I started working at Sephora and I was still kind of doing it, but then when I started working at Sephora, they didn't really say anything because like my channel wasn't big enough to really cause a ruckus. There wasn't really eyes on it, but like I definitely felt like I was pretty aware. I was like, you know what, it's like not worth me like having a YouTube channel while I work at Sephora, because I thought it would be fun to do both, but then it turned out to be like very difficult because, you know, more of your own I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say here, so I'm just gonna. I'm so scared to use this next shade because the first two shades were so pigmented. How? Ooh. But this blue, ooh. I think I like would do videos on and off through 2018 with like no consistency. And I'm pretty sure like in like the era of 2019, I probably didn't post that much if I posted at all. You know who came to visit in 2020. And what I did, I kind of had this feeling then. I was, you know, fortunate enough to like, I was like getting the stimulus checks because I was unemployed. And like, for me, those like were a lot of money. One of my stimulus checks went to buying kind of new equipment. So I bought the camera that I use currently for my YouTube channel for like recording, and I bought lights, not the lights that I'm sitting in front of currently, but like when I go anywhere else in the room, those are the lights that I use. That summer I like started doing it again, but then I was trying to do it while we were like in lockdown to be like, well, I have the time for this. And there's like a lot of conversations about like productivity and lockdown and like how healthy or good that was for us, whatever. But as someone who like kind of is just someone who likes to do, not so much, I'm not gonna say work, but like I like to do, right? Like I don't have like a lot of hobbies, but like I think that there is something instilled in me from my youth that like I always need to be doing something, even if it's not like work. Well, yes, this is work, but this is kind of like fulfilling and fun work for me. And like I often will kind of like jokingly say that I hate learning, but like that's not really true. But like I like learning things that I want to learn, not things that like an establishment has decided that I need to learn. Like I think those are like very different things. So this was like very fulfilling. So I started doing it again in 2020 in a more real way, I guess. But then once Sephora reopened and I started like working again, like I definitely fell off the train a little bit. So I kind of like trickled all the way until 2021. I'm going to put some of the Nyx Glitter Primer on. I don't know that I'll need this, but I think I will want to have this down. I'm going to use that shade Astro, that sparkly blue shade, and put that on the lid. Wow. Okay. Okay, wow. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. You know what's so funny is like I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's so pretty, and that's something that I like is not common. That's like not a thing that I would normally put on my eyes. So that's so stupid. That's so shiny. That's so stupid. You know, I've seen people like swatch their Kaleidos shadows before, like in videos, and I always think that has to just be the lights. And I'm sure the lights definitely help, you know, even in my case here, but like that is a sight to be seen. It's a sight to behold. And then I'm gonna take, there's like a topper shade called Nova. Or at least I think it's a topper shade. And I'm just gonna see what that does with this brush. I can't stop looking at myself. I'm so sorry. There's also this purpley shade. I think it will work pretty well as a topper. I just want to do something a little bit transformative that's visible on the inner corner here. I don't know if you can even see that I put anything on top. This blue is so strong. This blue really said, let there be blue. I don't wanna be blue anymore. Blue. I did get some fallout around the corner of my eye, but that's okay. I'm gonna just smoke it out. That's fine. It's fine with me. I'm gonna do that actually right now before I forget. Not to like plug old videos, but I think it's important for context is I quit Sephora. I quit working for Sephora at the beginning of 2021. And while you can watch my like why I quit Sephora video, it's like not inflammatory. It's like not a dramatic watch. I just want to like preface that. Like if you think that anything would be triggering, I don't think so. I even say it in the video. It's like more of like a like telling a story of a romantic breakup is kind of how I talk about it, because that's how it like felt to me. Anyway, so what I really loved about working at Sephora was like kind of like being in it. And it's just like how I think a lot of people who consume makeup YouTube, it's like a way to have a touch point into the makeup community without like working in it. But I liked working in it. And I was like, you know what? We have the channel, we have all of the stuff to make the channel a thing. Let's do it. And so I kind of like was like, we'll try to do 3 videos a week. We'll see where that gets us. And so I did. And so I posted pretty consistently last year. I don't know that I always did 3 a week. And then while I was posting, like I did some like odds and ends videos. I guess I can call them like odds and ends videos, where I was like, here's just like stuff, let's see what sticks. And then I was still shopping pretty rampantly through the first half of 2021. But I think what happened was when you work at Sephora, it's like encouraged to wear the things that they sell there. But now I could explore like indie makeup. And I so essentially started like buying all the things that I was like, I felt like I could never buy. And so that's why I ended up doing a no buy in the second half of 2021. And I feel like that's when I really honed into my content. And I was like, I have all this beautiful makeup, and some of these things I would only touch once, and then that led to the project formerly known as Messmas, which is definitely just the project that is Messmas, where for 31 days every day I used a different thing of makeup to try to touch everything in my makeup collection in 30 days. Long story short, couldn't do that. But anyway, I think that's like, once I honed into like that no buy, looking at my collection differently, how can I use my collection differently, feeling that I was like into, like that was whenever things started to really click. And not to say that it's like easiest to come up with the concepts. It's like kind of difficult to try to make your collection feel spicy. But then I was like, that's okay though, right? So while sometimes my videos are just like, let's play with makeup. Well, it's just like to like look at your makeup a little bit differently. Like, let me pull out something I haven't used in a long time. So like, if I didn't have this Club Nebula palette to play with today, I obviously couldn't play with something new. This is like a rare opportunity where like this was gifted to me and I got to play with it today. But like I would have tried to pull out the palette that I feel like I've used the longest ago. That's like kind of what I like to do in these Let's Play with Makeup videos. And so it's just like me, it's like more for me, right? So I'm like now like in the beauty community in a way that feels like right and good to me. And I think that's probably what's like resonating with people who are like subscribing and sticking around. But I don't know. Like, I don't know, but I do feel like once I honed into that, like, specific thing, where it's just, like, keeping my collection small, not buying too much. When I buy something, or when I consider buy something, like, let's put some thought into it. Let's really think about it before we bring it into our makeup collection, which was, like, definitely not something I was, like, doing before. So, and if you would have told me in 2017 that, like, my YouTube channel would have taken off, I like wouldn't have believed you. Like I think there's like a certain sense of delusion. This is the Rodial contouring powder. They don't make this anymore, but I like it and I have this mini guy and so I'm using it. That's another thing. That's like another thing that I think about beauty YouTube is like everyone feels like they should only use things that are for sale. But what I encourage you to do, so I put out a contour powder. I don't know if you contour your face or I don't know if that's something that you're interested in doing, but I'm using a discontinued product, so you cannot buy this. what is in your collection that could do the same thing or something very similar? Like, have you, like, do you know what I mean? It's just like to get you to look. I'm allowed to use things that are discontinued because I paid for them and I went to use them up, and you're allowed to see me using them because you can be like, oh, you know what, like I can't get that, but like what do I have in my collection that I can use? Like that's the thought here. Anyway, so if you would have told me when I started my YouTube channel that like it would even get to 1,000, because oh my goodness, the growing process, and I don't know that this is the case for anyone, but it's for me, like, you know, it's been 5 years and now I'm just hitting 1,000 subscribers. But also know that like I wasn't really posting regularly all the time to grow either, so I keep that in mind. But like, is it frustrating whenever you do decide to like really post on YouTube with like regularity and with the purpose and wanting to grow? And I don't think there's anything wrong with like wanting to grow your YouTube channel, right? I think it's really easy to say at first, you're like, I'm doing it for fun and I'm doing it for me. And you should, right? That should be like how it feels at first. I'm doing for this for the love of whatever your content's going to be. But there does come a point where you're like making videos 3 times a week, and then you have your lovely regulars who somehow stumbled onto you, or your friends who are supporting you and like posting comments on your channel. And you're just like, so I'm just like doing it for us, like, and we like I like the 5. I'm doing it for like the 5 of us, and like that's kind of it. And it just be like you're posting these videos, and not to toot my own horn, but there was a certain shift in the quality of my content even through 2021, and I think it still is developing too. But like, I was making like quality content because I was making quality content with like quality materials too, because like I said, I like upgraded my camera with one of my stimulus checks because like that's what I decided to do with it, and you know, I'm allowed to decide to do whatever I want with my stimulus check. And I have mics. I have like nice microphones from like doing my podcast with my friend, and like we made some money on it over time. So like I upgraded equipment for that, but like we still didn't really know what we don't get it wrong, like I still don't really know what I'm doing with audio, but like I know like how to make it sound like good enough. So I have these like quality mics, so I feel like my sound is good. I feel like my video quality is good. I have Final Cut Pro, so like, is my editing the best? No, but I think my personality could work in the editing style where everything's like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But that's like just not how like talking to someone is. And I love long form content. I know that I'm like really getting off thing, but like I'm just like talking. We're just talking. I'm putting on makeup. We're talking. For my bronzer today, I will be using the bronzer in this Ambient lighting palette, Natural Bronze Light over here. I felt like I was making quality content. I ended up talking about my microphones, and then I started talking about long form content because I was talking about editing. Okay, I remember how I got here. There is really a train of thought here. I like long form content, so I think like leaving in my natural breaths and stuff is just like that's how I like to like listen to people, because it's like it feels like more realistic, I guess, you know, because I feel like I'm in the room with them, and I don't know, I'm just basing this on comments with you guys. You guys feel like you're hanging out with me, and I think it's just the way I pace my videos, which is like, I guess for some people it would be like not fast enough. Like I don't pace my videos fast enough, but that's not what we're doing here. We're having a conversation. So I have this high quality content. I have good audio. I think I have good video quality. I think. I mean, there are people, you could disagree with me, and you know, I obviously still have a lot to learn. I also only have a finite amount of time, so it's like I can only learn so much in a finite amount of time, where it's like, and you know, when you're like doing it for the void too, your willingness to put more effort in is like a little bit varied, because sometimes it doesn't matter if your like the look and the quality of all of your content is even good. Does that make sense? Like it's just like no one's gonna click on your video just because your quality got better. Like yes, sort of, but like not really. So like why would I invest more time on making it look better if that's like in the grand scheme of things not really going to change things, right? Unless you want really to be a really good video editor, which I can always be better, but like I don't need to like know how to edit a feature film. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't need, that's like not something that I'm interested in doing, because I find when I am using, or when I'm trying something new on Final Cut or Photoshop or anything, you know, to make the clips, like the clip art, what is that called? clip art, thumbnail. When I, like, you know, making a thumbnail or whatever. It's incredibly infuriating to like learn a new thing and you're just like, why am I even doing this? Who cares? And you know, like I care because I take pride in my work, but like it's also just like sometimes really infuriating because it's not like an innate skill that I have. Like there's the editing is something sometimes I'll be editing and I use the same software and then it'll do something completely different. Like same software, I think I'm doing the same process with it and then something weirdly weird happens and I'm like, I have no clue what key I hit or what button I did to make that happen, but I certainly don't want to do it. Singing to the void, it can be tough. And, but yeah, so it was kind of like, it just kind of get to a point where you're just like, you're making content and you're like, will anyone ever find me? And what was interesting was, I do kind of feel like I was right around the time that Hannah shouted me out, like the first time, I think that there was something going on in the back of my brain where I was kind of like likely considering like maybe just like I don't want to do YouTube because like I was doing it and I was posting consistently and like I just like wasn't seeing any growth. I have no idea how Hannah stumbled across my channel, which is I guess would be worth asking. Like I really have no idea. It's so literally these were like thoughts that I was having and I was, you know what was happening that day? I was going to hang out with my friend David and I don't know what we were doing that day, but I know I was hanging out with him and I was literally waiting for him to come pick me up. And I got a notification on YouTube that someone had shared one of my videos. And it's like a notification that I had never seen before because actually I've pushed notifications off for YouTube because I try to live a sane life where it's like I will only look at my comments and stuff when I have the app open. I don't need it to tell me that people are commenting or whatever. And that's just like, that's kind of like, it's a fast and hard rule I make for all of my social media. Like I just don't want to have that. I don't want people to have that kind of access to me. I actually think I'm going to actually also use this blush. This is Mood Exposure from Hourglass. While I'm in this palette, might as well. Hannah shared it, and I was like, someone shared my video, and then I saw that was Hannah. I was like, Hannah Louise Posen has watched my content, and then a flood of people started watching my content, and it was really wild. That was the first. Yeah, I think that was the first video that I ever made that hit 1,000 views. And I was like, this is pretty wild. It was like wild because people started commenting, people started subscribing to me. And I think at that time I had like about 300-ish, a little over 300 subscribers to like that I had gained other ways, I guess is the best way to say it. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, people are now interacting in the comment. And I got like a really good group of subscribers from that initial share. And then they started commenting on my videos. And it like essentially changed the whole game for me. And I was like, there are people listening. And so I was actually like really comfortable and okay with that too, because I was just like, at least I have people to talk to on my channel. So like when I post, like people comment, and that's not to say there weren't people commenting on my videos and I wasn't having conversations with people in my other content before this surge, but it was just like, it just felt like for the first time I was just like, oh wow, yeah, like I can, this feels good now. This feels good. And then I continued to make content, and then not that I felt like I had plateaued, but I was like, well, I made it to like 790 subscribers. I don't know what highlighter I want to use. Anyway, I'm going to use the How Many Carats Fenty Diamond Balm. I think I'm going to add eyeliner too. This is the Coffee Beauty Rain Check eyeliner. It's blue. We're just doing all the blue. That's kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of like how we got here. That's like the journey to 1,000, really. But like, let's talk a little bit more now. We're here. So they say, they being the internet, is that like getting to your first 1,000 is the hardest. Oh my goodness. Brittany, can you believe I forgot to bring a fan over here? I broke my like little blue fan that I use for the most part, so I have an even bigger fan we'll be using today. But I'm gonna set my face with Fix Plus. There's so many like listicles online that are like, hitting your first 1,000, here's how to do it, post consistently. That's like basically the only advice that you can normally find on the internet. It's definitely luck. I would say that it's like luck. I know, for not to speak for Kristen, but like Kristen had a like wrestling video go viral ish, and that's how she got over 1,000 subscribers. And like I can definitely attribute most of my success of getting to 1,000 because of Hannah Louise posting. And like that's just because like Hannah found me and decided to shout me out, and that's like how I hit 1,000. Like that's definitely like how that happened for me. But they say like hitting your 1,000 is the hardest. And I'm gonna have to like agree with that, just based on, for the very short time I've been over 1,000, my channel is growing more consistently, just naturally. And I don't know what that has to do with anything, because like there's a lot of thoughts around the idea like whenever you hit 1,000 and you can monetize your channel, because like YouTube is now making money off you, you get pushed more in the algorithm. Like obviously like I'm not gonna get pushed into like thousands and hundreds and more thousands of eyes than I have been, but like I think I'm gonna get like, I've been showing up a little bit more. I had someone comment today that the algorithm brought them to me and I thought, the algorithm, not Hannah, not one of my friends. You got here somehow through the YouTuber, like through the YouTube. And I also watched this. This was a very informative video. It's Daniel Howell, who I wasn't familiar with before this, but he's a very popular YouTuber. He has millions of subscribers. He did a video called, and I'll link this down below, called Why I Quit YouTube. And it's like, it's a long form video, and I watched it and I was holding my chest the whole time, because I was just like, oh my God. And he talked a lot about like the algorithm and like being a creator and like why you're being a creator and like when it turns into this and that. Like I have a more grounded approach to YouTube than I would have 5 years ago. Like I don't think I'm going to be like an overnight success. I'm not expecting to make millions of dollars off of this. That's not like even my intention either. It's just like as of right now, I still enjoy making the content, but like really what I like is like the connection with people in my comment section. That's like the stuff that I really enjoy, and like kind of building community. Because I feel like one could say like building a cult. That's like not, that's not my goal. I hope you know that's not my goal, but like building community, because it's like, like a lot of people who end up subscribing to my channel are people who want small curated collections, people who have the goal of being like really considerate about the makeup that they're bringing into their collection. They're on low buys, they're on no buys, they're budgeting just like I am. And like that, I like that sense of community, because if I don't have the answer to something, someone in the community will, and they'll be able to answer. And I love whenever I see a comment thread that I haven't even commented on yet. It's like under one of my videos and people are having conversations, and like very polite conversations are always happening in this. Like, so I'm saying like, this is what I love to see. Like that sense of community is really what it's about. Anyway, I'm gonna put mascara on. This is the Lash Clash from YSL. I guess the question is kind of like, well, now what? Well, we live in the success of hitting 1,000 subscribers. That's what we do. And I love living in this space where we are just celebrating that. Now, there are some people who have said, now on to 2,000, now on to 5,000, now on to 10,000. And well, yeah, that would be nice. I just am like really excited that I was able to do this. And with the, does it sound like a toilet? Yeah, I just am like enjoying living in the 1,000 subscribers, chatting with you, kikiing, doing all of that, and you know, just talking about makeup and our love for it, and our hatred for capitalism, and our how to shop consciously and be conscious and not have so much makeup that we'll never get through it. Like that's like that's what I'm into. That's the jam. That's like the stuff that I'm interested to continue doing. Well, I'm here on the platform, and hopefully I'm on the platform for a while. I love it. I am enjoying doing it. I just need to finish this lip. I think I'm gonna use Merit's 1990, but I'm gonna put on a darker lip liner because I don't think that the Merit lipstick on its own is going to be enough to like balance out this eye look, which is a very strong look. This is the lip liner in Ground Control from Pat McGrath. I don't think I said that. And now I'm going to apply the Merit lipstick in 1990. So to wrap this up, all that's to say, if you've ever wanted to try to post on YouTube, you just have to do it. And you have to do it for the love of whatever content you're creating. And it's okay that it's not good when you first start it, because you can only get better at it from there. Like, you don't know how to do any of it until you try it once, right? And if you want to grow, you know, you make the efforts to grow, and hopefully that happens for you. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But all I can say is that I'm incredibly grateful, not only from the support of Hannah Louise Poston, but the support of you, my subscribers, and the support of all of my subscribers who were here before Hannah Louise Poston shouted me out, and for all of my friends who who subscribe to me that may not watch my videos but really want to see me succeed. I'm just really grateful, and I feel in a very like privileged, but like I'm very thankful space, because it feels really cool. I don't know. It feels like it does feel like a monumental achievement to me. It really does. Because I guess I just like didn't really ever think it would happen. And then when I got close, I was like, well, we gotta try. We gotta try to get it there. And then it happened and we are here. And, you know, I'm sure over the coming weeks, I will create some goals for myself and try to come up with some game plans how to achieve those goals here on YouTube and on Patreon and all of those places. You know, I'm still thinking about all of these things all of the time, but most of all, I'm just grateful to be right here, right now, with you. Now's the time in my videos where I reflect on everything I used on my face today. We won't be talking about the foundation, but for primer, I did use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. As if you're not new here, you know, but if you are new here, this is like my favorite primer. It's like my do-it-all primer. And secondly, the Irritating Eye Primer. It's like an eye primer that I swear by. I really like it. This Angelica palette in this Club Nebula palette. Girl, they took me on a journey. They said, we're gonna do it. We're going blue, mama. We're gonna be really blue. And they lived up to that promise. I don't know that I knew that they were promising that, but these were super pigmented. They work like super pigmented shadows, if that makes sense. So I definitely like kind of live in the land of neutrals with a pop of color, because I kind of like my color to be like the shimmery lid situation. So I don't often play with like really colorful mattes, but this was like really fun to do. But and my friend Tiffany has called me out on this. Not called me out, called me in, pointed this out to me. Like, you really like luxury formulas that are really easy to blend, because, and now that you have that, your preference is like that ease of use, which is true. But, you know, putting in the time to get something like this, it was truly fun. And so I need to remember that I do like playing with color. I just need to give myself the space and grace and like have the patience to play with like color like this. Mario Badescu lip balm. This is my favorite like prep for my lips whenever I'm doing a look. If you see me do any look on YouTube at this point, I start with this as like prep for my lips, because my lips are always chapped. So this is like a good, gets them going point, and then I can kind of like scrape off the dead skin by the time I'm ready to apply lipstick. But anyway, always part of the process. Pat McGrath powder. I have been enjoying this. And I just didn't think I liked it that much. Now, it's not something that I feel like I need to buy, but like enjoying it while I have it. The Rhodial Contour, I need to repress this. It does feel as though it is just ready to pop out of here. So that's exciting. I have never actually repressed, I've repressed Cliona eyeshadows, but I've never repressed something like this. So probably should be less scared to repress this than I was to repress all of my Cliona shadows when they took a tumble. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, I really do like this, and this was from Holiday 2020, and you can still buy this on their website. I'll link it down below if you are interested in this, and I would say this is for someone who has never tried Hourglass and wants some options and is of a skin tone where this would work for. That's like the real unfortunate part about Hourglass, is that they do not provide enough in their ranges to everyone. That's like a known fact. So if you think you could benefit from this and you want to try Hourglass powders, which are some of my favorite powders, I think this is like really worth it. And you get like to try a bunch of their different formulas in it. But it's like, if you have things you like, don't buy this. Just buy this. Like, I'm not even like, you know what? Don't buy this. I'm just telling you, like, if you were interested, I like this, and I think it's a good way to try Hourglass. But if you weren't interested in Hourglass beforehand, you don't need to try this. Because if you were very happy with your way your products are performing, continue to love and use the products that you were already using. But I'm happy that I have this. I always get joy when I pull it out, and I always forget to pull it out because I'm really bad at using face palettes, but I really enjoyed using the bronzer today. I think the warmth that this bronzer provided was a nice contrast to the blue. And this, I don't know, this blush, I don't know that it really did much for me today, but you know, I definitely used it. For highlighter today, I don't use this often. I normally use this on my eyes, but on the cheeks, it's cute too. I always think it looks better on camera than it does in IRL. Especially, well, it looks good at IRL if you're at an appropriate distance away, but once you get too close and you can see like that it's just essentially glitter on your cheeks, it's like, it loses a little bit of appeal. But I'm really glad. I like having it. It's like something that you can always like zhuzh up another thing with if you feel the need to zhuzh. The Lash Clash mascara, you know it's my favorite. You know I'm not moving past it at this time. The Kulfi eyeliners, this one, I don't use this one as much. This is the shade Rain Check because it's blue, and then I just mentioned how I don't play that often with color. I love these eyeliners. They did send me these in PR, but I mentioned this before, but I tested them for a really long time before I decided how I felt about them because I'm not like an eyeliner queen. Like I don't have that many in-depth thoughts and feelings about eyeliner. But yeah, if you were interested in these, if I like them, if you ever wanted to try them, if you were in the market for a new eyeliner, these ones are very nice. Particularly the shade Tiger Queen. Tiger Queen is my favorite eyeliner shade ever, and it's made by Kulfi, and it's a really cool and interesting shade, and I highly recommend. If none of the other shades speak to you, Tiger Queen is a very cool shade. If you're happy, again, if you're happy with the eyeliners that you already have, there is no need for you to buy a new eyeliner. This will not do anything that your eyeliner isn't already doing. It's just a very nice formula that I really enjoy using. The NYX Glitter Primer, you know, solid. We stand. The Pat McGrath Ground Control Lip Liner. I mean, I think you can see, it's like one of the few things that I have sharpened down this far. Like it gets used. Now, I think it's just because I like a dark lip liner, to be quite honest with you. I'm not telling you that you need a Pat McGrath lip liner. And I'm like, unlike Kulfi, like that's one of the few lip liners that I've ever tried. And it's just because I was a Pat McGrath stan when I bought it. So that's why I have that one. For no other reason other than that. And then 1990 Merit Signature Lip. It's like my favorite lipstick. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I will scream it from the rooftops. I love this. But yet again, if you already have a lipstick that you like and it's a brown lipstick, you don't need 1990. But if you were looking to try a new lipstick formula and you haven't tried the signature lips, they're very nice. I have a affiliate link with Merit, which they were kind enough to give me. So if you were already wanting something from Merit, should you click that link and make a purchase. I'm not telling you that's something you need to do. And I'm not telling you just don't do it because it's an affiliate link with me. Just only do it if you were interested in something already. And you have the means to make a purchase, and you're not on a no-buy, and you're not budgeting, and you know all the rules. You know all the rules. So don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not trying to tempt you. I'm just telling you it's there. I've been talking for a really long time about YouTube and hitting 1,000 subscribers. I'm done. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you were new here and somehow listened to me wax poetically about getting to 1,000 subscribers, well, thank you. Why don't you become one of those subscribers? Because you've made it all the way into this video, and this is a pretty far way to get without being a little bit committed to what I'm doing. Make sure you like this video before you leave. And I am also on Patreon if you'd like to support me there financially. The money from my Patreon essentially goes right back into my channel. That goes towards my $100 of budget a month to spend on beauty. So if you want to support me that way to see different beauty things and see some things early and 2 extra videos a month, you can do that there. But you don't have to support me financially, subscribing and liking and commenting down below is plenty and fills my heart with immense joy. Okay, and remember to follow your haute and you will find me. I forgot. Let me zoom you in. Hi, let me zoom you in. I forgot to let you see my skin, which is something that I really like to do in these videos. I'm taking a look at the foundation on my monitor. Okay. Just see you. Okay, I see you, foundation. I see you. I think that's it. We saw the skin. I got you zoomed in. We got to look at it together. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Bye.